Hi, and welcome to this episode of the Branching Out podcast. Today, we are talking to Liz Benson, our mobilization manager in grounds maintenance. So let's get started. Hi, Liz. How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm good. Hi, Jess. How are you?
Good, good. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, but we've known each other for quite a while now. So it's
Many
always good
years.
to see.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to see a friendly face. So let's just talk. Obviously, I've watched your progression over the last 10 years at ground control
hmm
to where you are now as the mobilization manager. So can you give us a bit of a brief of what a mobilization manager is, and maybe talk a little bit about how you got into the role that you are in today?
Yes. So within we're a little bit of a team now. Before the mobilisation manager just was a solo position within grounds maintenance. But basically, we take all new grounds maintenance contracts that are new to schedule PPM within the business. They come through to the mobilisations team, and we basically take all the contract documents, specification, scope, frequencies, pricing, KPIs, SLAs, health and safety policies and information.
Yep.
We digest all of that as a team, and then we engage all the other relevant business functions that might need to be involved. So finance, HSQE, operations, client services. Setting everything up on our systems, our ICE2, for our contracts managers and our field teams. We act as the main point of contact for the client during that mobilisation phase until we're into BAU. So yeah, really, it's our job to get everything set up, all the documentation completed and handed over to operations and client services to ensure a smooth delivery of service into business as usual, and hopefully we retain contracts throughout the years going forward.
Yeah, so there's a lot of detail there then that you guys have to kind of pick through, that the BD team just kind of hand over to you and you run with it, is what it sounds like.
Yes.
So it's all mainly then client interfacing. Or is it kind of like, do they come back to you? Do you know what I mean? Are you like, they get attached at all?
Yes, some of them do get attached. I mean, it doesn't happen in every mobilisation. We do have small ones where there's potentially it's only one site with one client, or it could be a handful of sites. And then obviously you get the much larger scale mobilisations, which is generally the utilities and the housing contracts, where we're talking thousands and thousands of sites, over millions of pounds that we have to mobilise. So it changes, but the process stays the same, whether it's a small contract or whether it's an extremely large contract. We still go through the same processes around obviously the contract documentation. It'll either come through from BD or the bid team, so formal bids that go through portals as such. But yes, we pick through all of that information and make it understandable and easy to deliver for everybody else.
So it sounds like you have a very like streamlined process. Then do you have like a average week of how things go, or?
Again, it depends on how many contracts we're mobilising. Currently, we've only got four, currently five in the pipeline. So we're supporting on ISS with the DWP contract, and with Shell. We've got a couple of small ones that we're processing for Greg's, and I'm also supporting on the retender remobilisation of Anglian Water. So yeah, we sometimes get involved in the retenders, but a typical week, depending on how many we've got, obviously reading through contract documentation, producing client bibles for client services, producing golden rules for our field teams, liaising with our contracts managers around field team allocations for our systems, obviously uploading data into our systems or making sure the current data in our systems is accurate for that particular client. that includes visit frequencies, client rates, job rates, making sure the necessary finance forms are filled in and handed over to finance, and that all the financial information is in our system to enable invoicing going forward. If we need to liaison with health and safety, if we need their involvement or around environment and sustainability. And again, depending on contract specifications, we might have to liaise with pothole team or with our tree division as well around tree surveys. So yeah, every contract is it varies depending on what needs to be done. But yes, you're right. We do have to have a very streamlined process and be extremely organised in being able to commence the mobilisation and see it through to contract start date. And we still stay very close to them, sometimes 1 month, sometimes a week, sometimes 3 to 6 months after a contract goes live. Again, it's very variable depending on contract size. But yes, I've mobilised contracts probably 2-3 years ago, and I still get client emails from them now. So yes.
yeah, the name sticks with you, I think. And
yes.
Yeah, and so you went from a one-person show to a team. So these how long have you been working on developing all these processes and getting things to where you are today?
It has been a slow process. I don't know whether people are aware, but I created the role in ground control probably about 8 or 9 years ago. Now I saw a niche in ground control, a niche in the business, and put my job proposal and covering letter together. Went to our old MD and CEO, Simon Morris, Marcus Watson, and it took a while to get off the ground. It wasn't a full-time job that many years ago. So I was doing a dual role with customer services and mobilisations. But obviously since ground control, we continue to grow all of the time. So probably about 3 years ago, it became a full-time role with a member of staff working underneath me. And just recently, we're now combining winter maintenance and grounds maintenance together. So I've got a learning curve coming with regards to learning the winter processes as well as the grounds processes now. Yes.
So would you say that's probably your biggest challenge at the moment, is adapting to a new division, or just understanding how they process their mobilisations is very different to grounds. I know it's not as in depth, but just understanding what it is that we sell, why we sell, what we sell for winter, how that all works. So we've got a reactive service, a pay and go service, a fixed service, then the snow clearance, different types of salt. I've got a lot to learn, and it's a completely different system to the system I'm used to. So I've got to learn that as well. Okay, so that's going to be the challenge of 2025 then, or at least the winter. Winter 2025.
I need to be ready, for winter 2025. So I've got a little bit of time, but we all know how quickly things move in ground control.
yes. No, I think that's something that you've just showed there is kind of the pace that we have grown at over the last really 10 years is remarkable, and kind of your role there is kind of at the forefront of that growth, because we can't unless we have for what you do, for how you bring everyone together. That's kind of what makes us successful then at maintaining and rolling out that contract. So it's very important for that. Do you think there's maybe any misconceptions about what you guys do in mobilisation?
No, I don't believe so. There's no misconceptions around what we do, but it's just making sure that we've got really good working relationships with all divisions that we engage with. As I mentioned, health and safety, finance, client services, and making sure that when we need the information that we need from people, that they are reacting, because obviously the work that we do is very time sensitive, and we need to make sure that we're hitting those deadlines.
Is that probably the thing you wish people would really take home? Is
yes. And also managing client expectations as well. I think they need to understand that if they change the goalposts or move the goalposts, So we do have a process around bidding for work, which is our grounds maintenance gateway process. And we the BD or whoever's actually bidding for the work, it could be operations, it could be client service, it could be anybody that's bidding for grounds maintenance work. We just need to understand that around access and authorizations is a big thing for us, about being able to get onto the sites and client portals, and obviously compliances. Are there any DBS or CTC clearances that are needed? Are there any particular training? Obviously, if we get petrol stations, then we need UK Fire training. If we're working on gas sites, we need SCO and shear gas, and water sites, we need water hygiene. So we need to make sure that the client's fully aware of what's needed and how long those processes take, because they might go, oh yeah, you've ordered a contract, you've got to start in a month. Well, it could take 8 weeks to get a particular type of clearance. So it's just making sure that we're managing client expectations as well as our own, to make sure that we can deliver, or we need to move go live dates and things like that. So sometimes there are challenges and negotiations that need to happen in the background, internally as well as externally with the clients.
Yeah, I think from a training standpoint, that's probably where we've had a lot of conversations, you and me, where it's like, what teams have UK5? Like, no, that's fine. We've got all the data. We can give it to you. That's fine. But yeah, it's sometimes there's always a few teams that also need it to cover a certain area. And it does take time. Things get booked out. And
yes,
yeah, it's all the niggly things that you just kind of talked about that you have to really make sure you're on top of and ticking those boxes. So obviously you've been with the business for nearly 14,
just over, it was 14 years on the 8th of November.
Well, congratulations. Okay. Is there been, I guess, maybe moving into maybe a bit of the kind of development side of things, is what kind of development have you done to help you get into the role that you are in now at Ground Control?
I've been on a couple of the GC leadership academies, the GC academies. I think when the GC Academy first came out, I was just managed by Darren, I think before he became maintenance director in that role. And then it was handed over to an external company. So I was involved in that, the first stages of that one. I think it was GC Manage or GC Develop. I can't remember. GC Develop.
And was that Embark?
That was for
Embark or
Embark, Accelerate. Yeah, I can't remember all of them.
So we're now GC Develop, GC Manage.
And then I did the GC Manage just online with Jez and the training team. And I think that was last year or the year before, I lose track. I've also completed a CMI level 5 in leadership and management. So a lot of coursework and assessments. But that was a great learning curve. We're learning about conflict and negotiations and having those difficult conversations and managing people. And the GC managers helped internally around policies and processes around people as well. So I've now taken a stop in my learning journey. I feel like I've been on the go for the last four years potentially. So I just need to make sure that I'm putting all those learning now into practice, and just trying to focus on the team and obviously the merge now of grounds and winter to potentially go into some type of potentially project management in the future, as well as joining the mentorship program. So I hope that I can help somebody else or other people in GC along the way.
Yeah, we're pushing out the mentorship. We're starting kind of really to push out the mentorship program. So if anyone's interested in that, just to contact the training team, and could be paired with someone as wonderful as Liz Benson to mentor you. And definitely the internal courses. Has there been, like you talked about a bit about having difficult conversations, that be probably one that you'd highly recommend for folks?
Oh yes, yeah, especially in our division. Chloe, who works for me, she's currently on the first one, the GC Develop. And hopefully she'll move into the GC Manage. But there's obviously pick and mix. You can kind of pick which modules. Okay. So it was definitely one of those that she learned with regards to difficult conversations, managing conflict, managing negotiations, because sometimes we do need to push back, I say internally as well as externally, because we deal with so many different divisions. So depending on the size of the contract or contracts that we're mobilising at the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a lot of networking as well within the business and trying to stay like I guess
Yes.
how do you stay connected? I'm kind of going back on myself, but how do you stay connected to everyone that you, because you have to work with so many people? Is it that you have regular meetings or just
Depending on the size of the contract, say if it's just a one site or a handful of sites, then we just deal with that. And it's generally just communicated via
yeah,
email. Generally, we like to do a handover with client services for each contract, such as via Teams, or if I'm in the office and I can do it in person, then that's even better. Those larger scale contracts, so the 1.2 million
yeah,
pounds and the thousands of sites, then generally we will have weekly mobilisation calls with the client and weekly calls internally with all the key stakeholders to ensure that we're holding everybody accountable, and that we're accountable, and then obviously providing those progress notes to the clients so they can see that we are progressing, and that we can meet all those key deliverables.
yeah. Accountability is so important in like in your guys' success because you need everyone to take their bit by the reins and do
Yes.
their bit. So it's a lot of motivating as well, I assume, to get those people working together. And just to come back on myself a little bit there, because we're talking about a few different things, because your role is quite big. You've got a
Yes.
lot going on. You're talking about the project management course. So I think that's kind of leads into a bit of what we're trying to push out now as well in the training division with the levy. And that would be something that you could utilize the levy fund. So yes, not take your rest, take your break, have a
Get through winter and then I
get
can
through winter and then come back to us in training and we'll help you get started on that project management. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one goal obviously that you have for the future. We like to impart a little bit of wisdom or knowledge or just like I guess, a bit of positivity towards what could be or what will happen. So, that's one goal. Do you have any other goals that you're looking to achieve, or what does the next 5 years look like for you?
When I created the mobilisation role many years ago, I wanted to be able to support in all divisions within GC. Obviously, ground controls obviously always growing at a fast rate, and we've now got the rail and infrastructure side of the business and RV utility, and then we've got winter maintenance and grounds maintenance. And I do hope that the mobilisation role or the project manager role might be able to expand to all divisions within GC. There might be skills and knowledge that I've gained through grounds maintenance, and then obviously through learning about winter this coming year, that might be able to impart onto those other divisions, or learnings that we could take from our divisions and how they project manage that we could learn within grounds maintenance and winter maintenance. I've just always wanted mobilisations to be a bigger part of the business across all divisions. My main goal was always to be mobilisation manager, and to have all these mobilisation administrators or coordinators or other managers underneath me that supported all other divisions within GC. I don't know whether it'll ever come to fruition, but I can dream.
You, I'll make you. How about this? I'll put it out there. Chief Mobilization Manager.
Yeah.
But that's good for anyone listening that is in, ARB, rail, construction, EV, inland waterways.
Yes.
How are you guys mobilizing, and where could, Liz and her team and you guys come together to make, because it's like you said, it's so important in ensuring the success of a contract, and especially in your division. I can imagine it, knowing what I do know about the rest of the business. There is that crucial mobilization period when you're getting that contract off the ground or that new project off the ground, and you want it to be a success. So how could we bring the business together and make that
And because it's grown so largely, we've got all the various different divisions now within GC. Sometimes they can be slightly siloed, so trying to get learnings from across all the divisions would be really, really great, because as I say, there might be some key things that we could learn in what I'm doing now, that could make things more efficient, better, faster, etc. So
no, we like it. Love it. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Liz. If you've enjoyed listening to this, or if you want to be a part of it, you can reach out to me and reach out to Liz. Those of you who are working in mobilization across the business. So thank you again, Liz, and yeah, take care. Hopefully talk to you again soon.
No, thank you, Jess. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.